Hey guys, welcome back to Reading with Kayla. So guys, it's been a long, rough couple of weeks, but I find a new tactic in order to help you guys out with the reading, and also I have been fumbling over my words a lot, but hopefully I can get through this with you all and finish this book to start a new one. So let's get into today's video. Chapter 19. Forest Fights. A couple of hours later, after Dylan's training session with the fighters, Jared still hadn't returned, and I was starting to get increasingly worried for his safety. I had spent my time mopping around in Dylan's cabin, attempting to come up with a rational explanation as to why Jared would have left on his own accord. But my heart was telling me that something was wrong and I needed to do something about it quickly. I jumped to my feet as a sweaty and soaking wet Dylan barged through the door, water dripping down his sculptured chest, causing me to swallow harshly, my wolf howling at the sensational sight of her mate. "He's still not back?" questioned Dylan, his mouth set in a firm line, causing me to shake my head, sighing. "I have to at least try to do something," I mumbled, settling down on the couch. "We'll go out and look for him, but not for long. There's a storm out there and it's not safe. Rogans roam at night," said Dylan, raising his eyebrows at me, causing me to nod, offering a small smile. "Thank you. I know it's probably smarter to wait until it's light out, but I just need to know I've at least done something." Dylan nodded in understanding, making his way over to me and crouching in front of me, his hands resting on his thighs. "I promise we will find him, Clara." I smiled sadly, leaning forward and wrapping my arms around Dylan's neck, slightly scratching at his tanned skin with my nails. He groaned, letting his head hang backwards as he bit his bottom lip, closing his eyes for a few seconds. "What are you doing to me?" The sight of Dylan in his dark jeans, his boxers slightly visible over the top, caused my heart to race. My wolf was begging me to make love to him until the sun came up. But I quietened her, not wanting her input, knowing now was not the time. "You're beautiful," mumbled Dylan as he studied me, caressing my cheek softly as he leaned forward again, pressing his lips to mine, kissing me softly. I couldn't have asked for anyone better, and I do want to finish this, but we need to find Jared. I said, sitting up, leaning forward to peck Dylan on the lips, and pulling away after a few seconds, smiling sadly. "Is Jared going to come and help search?" Dylan asked, pulling on a tinty shirt, my eyes loitering a little longer than necessary. "I'll text her to meet us on the outskirts of the forest by the lake," I replied, grabbing Dylan's ramsack that was leaning against the cabin wall, picking it up and opening it, checking that there were some extra clothes in there. I pushed the door open, snobbing out into the darkness as I was instantly drenched after one step, my teeth already starting to chatter from the cold. "Shift," suggested Dylan, taking his backpack from me and dropping it on the grass. "You'll be warmer and more protected." I nodded, closing my eyes, allowing my body to morph into my petty brown wolf, hearing the sound of my clothing stretch and eventually rip as I did so. the fabric landing in an heap on the floor. I turned to Dylan, watching in awe as he shifted to his large gray wolf towering above me, causing my eyes to widen. I had never seen Dylan in his wolf form before, but he was more than intimidating, and I could see why he was considered such a good fighter. His size definitely gave him an edge. I took a few steps forward, reaching up and licking Dylan's snob before picking up the ramsack with my mouth, heading off in the direction of the lake, flourishing in the joyous feeling of the pouring rain soaking me through. I sighed blissful as I ran through the packed grounds, enjoying the feeling of my paws hitting the squeaky wet ground, occasionally splashing through deep puddles, mud coating my entire bottom half. I hadn't let my wolf out for a real run in a while, and I could tell it was starting to get to me, causing me to feel agitated and grumpy. I couldn't help but feel sad for my little brother, knowing that feeling unhedged must be a common thing for him, due to not being able to let his wolf out fully. I shook my head, forcing myself as I round the corner, intent on searching for and finding my last little brother, becoming more and more worried that he was out in the weather in his wheelchair, knowing it didn't work well in the mud. As I approached the tree line, I noticed Gia waiting for us, her face pale, and the bags under her eyes deeper and darker, making me feel bad for asking her to help, knowing it was getting late. "Are we doing it in wolf form?" questioned Gia, looking up at Dylan and I as we slowed down to a walk. Stopping in front of her, she swagged, shifting into her small wolf, following Dylan and I into the woods, waiting for us to instruct her on what to do. Splitting up, but staying within sight of each other, we ran through the woods, checking for any scent that could lead us to Jared, but there was nothing but trees and leaves for as far as the eye could see. I sighed to myself, howling loudly, hoping if Jared was close, he would hear it and yell for help, and maybe yell for help. We all waited for a few seconds, our pointed ears perked up, listening for any form of response, but no one never came. I growled to myself, full of frustration, continuing to make my way through the woods, slowly leaving the packed territory. Dylan sent me a warning glance. Dylan sent me a warning look, glancing at me, asking me to stop, but I shook my head, chambering over a large log and running deeper into the forest. I heard him growl behind me, the sound echoing throughout the forest, causing my heart to pittle. Intimidating my wolf for a second. I considered turning around and giving up, but I knew if I was in George's position, he would do the same for me, and he wouldn't stop until I had been found. Suddenly, I stopped in my tracks, rolling my eyes at the grumbling growl behind me, knowing Dylan had followed me and was now more than likely forcing me to head back. But when I turned around, a large pale wolf was stalling towards me, drooling from his fangs. I yapped, jumping back as the wolf lunged for me, pinning me to the ground, causing me to snapper under the pressure of my throat. Its eyes were a glowing yellow, and they were filled with determination. Digging its claw into my jugular, blood starting to swoop through my furry coat. I glanced downwards, attempting to push the huge wolf off me, but knowing there was no use, I growled in frustration, snapping my teeth, knowing I couldn't stretch far enough to do any damage. But just as I was about to give up, The large pale wolf was thrown off me, its blower of a body being flung through the air and hitting a tree, causing it to snap. I jumped to my feet, taking a few step backs, my eyes wide as Dylan tackled the wolf to the ground, growling in its face, sinking his teeth into his neck, drawing blood. I turned my head, not wanting to see what was going to happen next, although I already knew. Gia glanced at me, her eyes sorrowful as she looked me up and down, checking if I was okay. Padding over to where the wolf had launched on me, I picked up the ramsack I had dropped, holding it between my jaw as I guiltily looked up at a fierce-looking Dylan, following him back towards the packed grounds. I stalled to myself as I padded back to the ground with Gia by my side, occasionally stiffening the air in an attempt to gain the scent of my brother, but all I could smell was rain and blood. I widened my eyes, looking down at my chest to see my fur christened red with blood, causing me to realize how much my neck was throbbing, causing severe discomfort. Dylan turned to Gia as we reached the tree line, looking at her with little expression, waiting for her to leave. She took the hint, nodding at me slightly to check if I was okay, before making her way back towards the direction of her home, her wolf disappearing off into the fog and rain. Dylan turned around, shifting, grabbing a pair of shorts from the ramsack I had now dropped, causing me to widen my eyes at the sight of his bare buttocks, feeling slightly aroused as well as worried. "Shift back," ordered Dylan, causing me to shake my head, looking down at him with flickered eyebrows. "I'll turn around." Once I was sure Dylan couldn't see anything, I mortared back into my small human form, quickly pulling one of Dylan's t-shirts over my head, my nipples freezing and hard underneath. "You're hurt," said my mate, his voice completely mic-toned as he picked me up bridal style, swinging the ramsack over his shoulder and made his way through the rain across the field towards his cabin. I was only now noticing how much my neck was actually burning in pain, and eased as I moved, pain soaring through my veins. Dylan kicked the cabin door open, barreling through and setting me down on the kitchen counter, rummaging through the drawers, mumbling a stream of curse words. "Dylan, calm down," I snubbed, attempting to place my hands over his. "Dylan, hey, stop." "No, Clara," yelled Dylan, flunking his hands up in the air, taking a step back, his chest leaving. "You were attacked, and I didn't stop him before he hurt you." I shook my head, confusion masked in my face. "Dylan, I ran off. It's not your fault I was attacked." I grabbed a paper towel, placing it against my small wound, allowing it to soak up all the blood. "I'll heal soon." "He could have killed you," mumbled my mate, taking the towels from my hands, daubing at my punctured wounds. "But he didn't," I replied, gaining a growl from Dylan. "It's too dangerous out there. I don't know why I let you go in the first place." "Let me?" I snuffled, shaking my head, jumping down from the counter and making my way towards the couch, heading down at the edge of it. "I don't need to ask for permission to do anything." "You know I didn't mean it like that," sighed Dylan, pinching the brink of his nose. "You would do the same if you had a brother who went missing," I said, my voice slightly wavering at the end, emotion overcoming me. "I know," replied Dylan, quickly coming over to me and settling down on the coffee table in front of the couch, grabbing my hands in his. "I just want him to come back," I cried, tears drizzling down my cheeks, causing Dylan's ocean blue eyes to widen. He pulled me to him ensuring my wound had stopped bleeding before wrapping his arms around me, gently rubbing my back. I know, baby, it's okay. Where has he gone? This isn't like him, I snuffled, pulling away and rubbing at my runny nose. We will find him, promised Dylan, tilting my chin upwards with his fingers so our eyes were leveled. I want to see my dad, I said, running my hands through my strawy wet ear, causing Dylan to grab my hand, pulling me to my feet. I'll take you to him. Okay guys, so we're at the end of chapter 19, and I know it has been a while, but hopefully I can make it up to you guys. So I'll be back soon enough. I'm taking my little time to pull my way back into the whole creating concept. I am still yet to get all of the stuff that I need, but everyone has some stuff that they're going through and they just have to take their time and work their way here. So not to bore you guys, but I'll see you guys in my next chapter, which is pretty soon. See you guys.